reveals 242.84 million in irregularities. Now to the to other stories here. Quarter 1 graphic business and Stanbic Bank breakfast meeting tomorrow, and President appoints Bessa White to head SIGA, and Africa Prosperity Dialogues open on January 30. Let me now take you to the back page of the Daily Graphic newspaper. Legon City secure crucial victory over Gold Stars, and Kotoko jump to top spot with narrow win. That's it for the Daily Graphic newspaper. My next paper I have here is a New Crusading Guide newspaper front page. Kwewoman gets 2 paramount chiefs as tension escalates. I'll bring you excerpts of that. COP Kofi Boachi denies allegation of instigating chaos at KIA, and Zoom Lion honors YEA worker for honesty and godliness, and GPHA commissions multi-purpose vessel to address potential environmental issues at Ghana's ports, and MEPE citizens demand resolution to paramount chieftaincy dispute before August Apenoto Festival. Apenoto. Well, I read about it recently, and that's interesting. I probably would have struggled to pronounce this. Let me bring you the story about the Kwewoman gets 2 paramount chiefs. That's on page 3 and 10. It says here that as tensions, as a long-standing chieftaincy dispute in Kwewu has taken a dark turn, with a rival chief being installed by a faction of Kwewu chiefs, sparking fears of potential troubles in the area. The development has escalated tensions in the traditional capital, Abene, with residents calling for swift intervention by the authorities. At the heart of the dispute is Dasibre Kwamwa Ejapon II, the embattled Kwewoman, who has reaffirmed his legitimacy, citing his gazetting by the Eastern Region House of Chiefs. His position is further bolstered by a pending court case challenging his earlier distillment and the acting Abitifihine. The court verdict is expected on January 28th. However, a faction of Kwewu's chiefs has gone ahead and installed a rival chief, sparking outrage and concern among residents. So it says, over the weekend, armed thugs, allegedly backed by some chiefs, forcefully took over the Esono Jima Palace, the seat of the Kwewoman. Well, very unfortunate. We hope that there's a peaceful resolution to this matter. I think when the Interior Minister appeared before the committee, one of the things that the panel members did ask was how he was going to, I think it was Lanchineto that asked that question. He asked how the Interior Minister will leverage on his long-standing friendship with the now Minister for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs to address the issues of chieftaincy, because it's one of the many security issues plaguing this country. Well, I've been joined by Obed Kingaglu as we continue with the newspaper review segment. Good morning to you, Obed. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great. How are you doing?
I am well. Thank you for asking. What's up?
I'm good. It's a Monday morning.
How was your weekend?
I was here to produce a Saturday news bulletin, and Sunday I went to church. It was exciting. I'm a member of the Church of Pentecost.
It's been a while you went to church?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Because the way you said Sunday you went to church, it's a normal...
It's been a while, like 3 months or something. Yeah.
Oh, wow. The elections took over?
Yeah.
Okay. But it felt good to be back in the presence of the Lord.
Yeah.
Okay. We hope that it continues.
Oh, it will. It will. Okay. Now that I'm a bit...
stable. Okay. Fine. Nice one. What paper do you have?
The Daily Post newspaper. President John Mahama appoints Ishmael Yamson chairman of 7-member National Economic Dialogue team. Yeah, so great news. But I was trying to find out what happens to the National Development Planning Commission. Is still going to be in place? That one is not coterminous with government, right?
It does, but the dialogue is different from the National Development Planning.
Okay, so John Mahama will also appoints members to the commission.
Exactly.
Okay, right. Hannah Tettey appointed as UN Special Representative to Libya. And also, we are impressed at your speed of work. And this is from Togbi Afwede to John Mahama. And the previous government was too happy to borrow without paying it. And this is by Kwachio Fosu. That's all for the Daily Post newspaper.
All right. The Herald newspaper front page. How Mineral Fund ex-boss awarded $40 million office building. And rushed $6 million payment against Mahama's directive. Wow. Interesting. New GRA boss competence and NDC ties revealed. Assembly group gets response. Also here, finance minister pledges prudent economic management, and intense lobbying for ECG MD job leaves government confused. And Western Region chiefs expose former regional minister on Akufo-Addo's statue. That's it for the Herald newspaper.
Right, the Daily Statesman newspaper. New NSA boss targets greater achievement. Yeah, so I think they visited the National Service Authority, and then I see some handing over by the former Director General. That's Osei Sibinchi to the incoming Director General Felix Jenfi, and also Ruth Della Sedo, who is supposed to be the acting Deputy General Director General of the NSA. Right. Also, Banana Airline, we are not in a banana republic, as Antahini says. Change of government, not license to misbehavior. That is true. A lot of misbehavior going on in the name of change of government. Right. Also, we rise and fall together. Fatimatu urges MPP not to wash their dirty linen in public. Right. Looks like some people are talking in the MPP. And then Muntaka, we take our peace for granted. Okay, yeah, I remember him making that comment. We take our peace for granted. Indeed. And also, World Economic Forum, digitization catalyst for economic transformation. That is by Wamkele Mene, who is the head of the AFTA. Yeah, so those are the headlines for the Daily Statesman newspaper.
All right. Are you done?
I have one more newspaper with me.
Okay.
The Daily Dispatch newspaper.
No, so let me do the Chronicle, and then
All
you can
right,
come in with that. The Chronicle newspaper, honesty pays. Zoom Lion worker heavily rewarded for returning 20,000 Ghana cedis cash. I'll stabilize the CD and create jobs. New finance minister assures the nation. And yep, that'll be it for the front page. Let's go to the back page. Haaland takes advantage of Sanchez's blunder as City beats Chelsea. Okay, yes, I mean, it felt good for us to win. You know, these days you can't predict if my team will win or not. And Mbappe scores hat-trick in 3-0 victory at Real Valladolid. That's a lot. And Leicester stun Tottenham with comeback victory. Lukaku gets winner as Napoli and Juve's unbeaten run. And Bayern Munich stretch lead with win over Freiburg. Okay, that's it for the Chronicle newspaper. I mean, let me bring you the quotation. Proverbs 20, verse 25. It is a snare to say rashly, it is holy, and to reflect only after making vows. It is a snare to say rashly, it is holy, and to reflect only after making vows. That's it for the Chronicle newspaper.
Right. The Daily Dispatch newspaper. Give me details of staff added to your payroll since December 7. Chief of Staff to government agencies. Why I picked Napo over myself as running mate to Baumia.
Who is that?
Osechi Mensabonso.
Oh, okay.
Right.
He picked him.
I mean, I'm sure he maybe when he was consulted, he.
Oh, okay.
But I don't think that was a right pick. I mean, really.
Why do
no disrespect to Napo, but
why do you think it was not the right pick?
Napo took a lot away from the already lost credibility of the MPP flag bearer. Like he was unpresidential for me. I don't have anything against him in terms of his achievements as minister, but in terms of running mates role, some of the utterances were so unpresidential. For me, that was off for me.
So
totally.
You thought that, I mean, you were talking about him not being president. You thought he could have done a lot better.
Yeah.
Maybe they could have also groomed him better, Or there was no time to do that. Because, I mean, the very first day he mounted the podium.
Yeah.
Disaster.
Catastrophic. Yeah. Or say achievements, someone who will not say some of the things Napo will say. I don't think so.
It's crazy.
Well, anyway. Yeah. So also fate of IGP Dr. Dampare rests with President Mahama, Minister designated for Interior. And for me, I pray John Mahama keeps Dr. Dampare. Yeah, I'm told a lot of issues are in the police service, but I think that he's been forthright when it comes to ensuring that the elections were peaceful. Yeah, the issue of military getting themselves involved. Yeah, we saw one or two of them, but it was better than before. And the man, well, people say it is PR, but I think that it's the way to go.
Who?
Leaders must be down to earth. I once saw him.
Who?
The IGP. I saw him at one hotel here in Accra. And he was in shorts. It was Lacoste, and you will never know that was the IGP. With no bodyguards, he was walking there.
That's a typical damper if it's not in the office.
Yeah, leaders must be like this, but like our leaders, we always see them with bodyguards. Oh,
the thing is that you don't see you saw damper off work. Have you seen most of your leaders off work?
Some of them off work are still like that, with bodyguards around them, macho men and all that.
Who can you?
Oh, I don't want to mention it, but really.
Say a problem.
Oh,
say.
Well.
Say.
That's the truth. That's the truth.
So they should calm down.
Yeah.
They should be calming down.
Yes.
Okay.
They should be down to earth.
Yes, please. We will pass on the dear appointees, please. My dear colleague, Obed King Gaglo, who I have tagged the office professor, says that you guys should be coming down. It's just an office you're occupying.
Yeah.
It's not. You are not what? What is it?
You're not
demigods.
Yeah.
So please, this is a personal appeal coming from Obed King Gaglo. OKG. All right, Charlie.
Yeah, so that's all for the Daily Dispatch newspaper.
All right. Okay, is that another paper that you have?
No, that's all I have.
All right, let me take you to the Insight newspaper front page. Nungwa Traditional Council appeals to President and IGP as well as others to halt land guard attacks at Ajiringano. I was told that I learned it over the weekend. So I said Ajiringano. Ajiringano. Cannabis can yield this campaign is very serious. It's been on for a bit.
Yeah.
Cannabis can yield $1 billion and reset the economy, says Chamber, as it calls for commercial production in Ghana. Government set to introduce new business incentives to boost job creation. That's according to the Chief of Staff, Julius Debra. Unauthorized transfers spark probe at BCM International. And pastor faces death threats over release of book promoting compassion for LGBTQI plus rights. Speaking of that, the speaker says that he'd rather lose his life than not see this come to pass. Why is it that is that is that of a big deal to him like that? Wow. I didn't know.
I watched him. He said he gave an assurance that this year it was definite, very definite.
He said he was going to write to the Attorney General to seek advice on the way forward because it has expired after the passage and the president's refusal to assent. I mean, it would probably, if it's technically, they'll have to start the process all over again. And so he says they are going to write to the AG and then, get the advice with what they should be doing next. I've also heard a member of the NPP who was part of the proponents of that bill, in Team Fojo, former Deputy Education Minister. He says that they are going to initiate the processes to have it brought back to Parliament and eventually passed into law. Meanwhile, elsewhere, the U.S. president, he has asked that all transgender females be moved to, the male units, and it's part of a sweeping, level of sweeping amount of sweeping orders and directives that the president is making. It's quite scary. And then also the bit about undocumented migrants, immigrants in the area as well. I mean, some of the videos are quite heartbreaking. And so, Charlie, but our hearts goes out to
something I keep asking my friends way back in school, and then especially the political science students about political ideologies and in our part of the world and the Western world. So we know the Democrats are supposed to be socialist and all that, and here in Ghana we
liberal,
so they are promoting this. They allow this to happen, but in a part of the world, the government supposed to be socialist, right?
Yeah,
and they are against this.
Okay,
I get a bit confused.
So the Democrats in the U.S. are seen more as liberals. Do you understand? While the Republicans are seen as conservatives. So in that area, that is where this falls. That they are liberals, and also are all about looking out for the middle class and the relatively low income people, whereas the Republicans are conservatives and capitalists. You get it?
Yeah.
So, but the U.S. economy in general, for them, their ideology is all about capitalism, really. It is the Russias and the rest that are considered socialists. Russia, China. So I don't really think in terms of investment and those things, the two of them depart so much.
Yes.
When it comes to capitalism, but they try as much as they can to appeal to the middle class, the low-income earners, the blacks, and all that, compared to the conservatives or the Republicans, who are, usually centered towards the high-earning people in the society. In that area.
Yeah.
But in Ghana, they keep flip-flopping. But I don't. Even the socialists, with the socialists, most of them don't agree to LGBTQI plus.
That is why I don't understand, because they are supposed to.
They don't agree.
They are supposed to. It's a society where everybody's rights. They look out for everybody. No,
I'm saying the socialists. If you look at the socialist countries, if you see semblance of it.
Yeah.
They usually don't accept LGBT.
But then that's a departure of the principles of socialism. Some of the principles.
But socialism is not necessarily about. I don't know. People like to categorize this as a human right in some conversations.
Yes.
Others counter it and say that it's not a human right. Do you understand? When it comes to socialism, it's about even distribution of wealth.
Yes.
It doesn't consider sexual interest whatsoever. Do you understand? So it doesn't apply here, really. So it's about the even distribution of wealth when it comes to socialism. Because, is LGBTQI plus, is it a wealth?
No,
wealth that you are distributing?
It is not.
So, yeah. It is what it is.
Right. Okay, it's a new week. Vetting will be happening. Let's see how it goes.
Yes. Let's do the online portals.
Yeah.
Let me start off with starfm.com.gh. Hopefully, the internet doesn't show me shaky. Fingers crossed. Look at that. Computer asking me, verifying if I'm a robot. Can you imagine? Me that I am.
Okay, I have Ghana Web, so I can start with Ghana Web, right?
Yes, you can.
Right. So Ghana Web, you just came to power and you are already not picking calls. And the NDC journalists criticize government appointees. Ajay! And this is this is interesting. Well, it comes with a job. But they should be picking their calls. Just even if you don't pick, you return the call later.
Okay.
You understand?
I've heard you.
I think it's one of the things that make some of the politicians lose their elections. So little things like this, you have no idea. I was somewhere before and I will be somewhere after.
Who is that?
Napu shares life after elections. Interesting. You can't be a true Catholic and be a Freemason at the same time.
In fact, I think
Catholic
we should read that
Act
statement.
Diocese.
Do you have the statement with you? So we can read it to our listeners. I mean,
Yes, it's in the story.
The subject of Freemasonry has become topical.
Yes.
In recent times, and I think the vetting of the
Pablo, yeah.
Yes, the NDC's youth organizer, who is now going in as now Minister for Youth and Development
and Empowerment.
Yeah, with that one, it centered the conversation on the Freemasonry all over again, and the Catholic Church has had to issue a statement saying that you cannot be a true Catholic and still be a Freemason, and so it has asked its members not to join that group. Let me bring that statement to our listeners. It says here, and it's signed by Most Reverend John Bonaventure Kofi. It says here, "My dearly beloved, in recent times there has been a search on whether the Catholic Church has changed her position regarding her teaching concerning Freemasons. The answer is simply no. The Church has not changed her position on Freemasons. You can't be a true Catholic and a Freemason at the same time. Many of our Catholics, especially the young adults, need to know this and follow the Church for direction, especially at a time when some people are presenting Freemasonry as an association worth being affiliated to. As a church, the words of Proverbs 22:6 are of great importance in molding our younger generation. Train up a child in a way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it." On November 26, 1983, the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith, in the document called Declaration of the Masonic Associations, declared that Masonic principles are irreconcilable with the doctrine of the Church, and that Catholic membership in Freemasonry remains forbidden. Catholics who are Freemasons are therefore in grave sin and may not receive Holy Communion. Ooh. Wow. I quote from the declaration. Therefore, the Church's negative judgment in regard to Masonic association remains unchanged, since their principles have always been considered irreconcilable with the doctrine of the Church, and therefore membership in them remains forbidden. The faithful who enroll in Masonic associations are in a state of grave sin and may not receive Holy Communion. Some tenets of Freemasonry contradict the teaching of the Catholic Church. Let me present some examples at this point. The Masons have designated Jesus Christ, our Lord and God. Let me take it again. The Masons have denigrated Jesus Christ, our Lord and God, and have put him in the same level as Buddha, Krishna, Confucius, etc. Prayers through Christ are omitted and addressed to the great architect of the universe. Yes, Freemasonry wants the destruction of Christianity, and no one can claim to be a proud Catholic and a Freemason. More so, as we celebrate today, the Sunday of the Word of God, it is important for us to note that the Freemasons put the Bible and other religious writings at the same level. This is absolutely preposterous. This is absolutely preposterous.
Interesting.
In Matthew 6, verse 24, the Lord mentions emphatically, no one can serve two masters. Either you will hate the one you love, and either you will hate the one and love the other, or you will be devoted to the one and despise the other. Matthew 6, verse 24. Therefore, Catholics are banned from all forms of Freemasonry. Let us kindly take note of this, and may the Holy Spirit continue to enlighten us to follow his path. Thank you very much. Most Reverend John Bonaventure Kofi, Metropolitan Archbishop of Accra. Well, so if you needed any explanation as to people saying that Catholics are the Freemasons and well, you've heard from our Archbishop. He says a true Catholic cannot be a Freemason. And as such, and this dates back all the way to what? 1983.
83.
So before you and I were born.
Yeah.
You know, so then
interesting theology over there.
So he says the true Catholic cannot be a Freemason. So those of you who are doing so, please kindly,
But who is the grand architect of the universe?
That is what the Freemasons refer to as the supreme being. And if you remember,
as in God,
I believe so.
Okay.
If you recall, at the vetting, when what's his name? Apenyo Markin.
Oh, yeah.
Apenyo Markin asked him, they say, who do you da? And he says, to the grand architect of the universe. Yes. So the Catholics have set things clear. They say that, listen, you cannot be a true Catholic and be a Freemason.
But he didn't mention he was a Catholic. He said he was
Catholic.
Presbyterian. No,
who? Pablo is Presbyterian.
Yes, he mentioned Presbyterian.
But Apenyo is Catholic.
Oh, Apenyo is also a Freemason?
Yes.
I see.
Yeah, so that is where it's coming from. But his has been out for a while.
Okay.
About him being a Freemason.
I see.
There's also, I think, the former president, John Jekunkufor. I think Otunfo is one.
I've seen Otunfo,
yes, yeah. So, yeah, that's where we stand at the moment. And so if you are Catholic, you've heard from the Archbishop of Accra. He says, please, you cannot be a true Catholic and be a Freemason. Yeah. They don't believe in Jesus Christ. They said they have categorized him as Buddha, Krishna, Confucius, and the like. And so for them, they see him as God's son to us, our Lord and Master Jesus.
Well, some of us, it's interesting education because we've heard Freemasonry growing up, but we really didn't know. You remember last week I even asked you about what you knew about it.
I didn't know. So
even yesterday, my brother asked me, and I told him,
I send him this one. And then when you finish, you go and read a lot more about it. But yeah this brings a little clarity to it. Because, look, the moment people hear Freemasons, they say, oh, they are Catholics. They are Catholics. They are Catholics, I think they like to compare to the Marshallans, the Lodge, Marshallans.
Yeah.
But that one is very different from the Freemasonry. Anyway, we've been joined by Ibrahim Alassan. Ibrahim, good morning to you.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm well. Thank you very much for asking.
Yeah, you're most welcome. And it's interesting the conversation you guys are having. So, was it that the Catholic Church, especially the Greater Accra one, or the Accra Diocese, has been wanting to issue this statement for a while now, or probably might have typed it and kept it somewhere, waiting for an opportunity to send it out? Because just as Obed asked, Catholic never came up in that conversation at the hearing of the appointments committee. In fact, Pablo said he's a Presbyterian, but he's not a regular Presbyterian. He said that he doesn't often go to church. But of course, he mentioned Presbyterian. So if there was any sect that we expected a statement from, it should have been the Presbytery. Now, aside that, Pablo didn't, and I felt he should have. He should have, when the question was asked of him, are you a Freemason? But I said, yes, I am, just as you are. Right? Because that of Afinio has been public. Right? But then again, I understand the Catholic Church. If you have a position on something and it comes up for a conversation, you ought to state that position clearly, unambiguously. But the reality is that the gentleman in question goes to church. He takes communion.
Yeah, you're not supposed to communion. So they are putting it out there clearly.
So then what? His father or the bishop in his church? They would have directly written to the bishop. But I get that. No, trust me. See, and I had many people ask me, including Muslims, ask me whether, as a Muslim, you are allowed to join anything like that. I said no, hell no, right? That is unheard of. But many people belong to groups.
Yeah, maybe.
But you see, once your group just doesn't identify as a group, but it has a belief system, then that becomes an issue that should be interpreted one way or the other, according to the beliefs of other group systems that you belong to. If it had just been like Boy Scout or Rotary, right? Or Lions. Yes, you know that, okay, these are individuals who come together and say we help each other, we help community. That's different. But you mentioned lodge. So the Catholic Church accepts lodge because it's a branch of it.
Marshallans. They are Marshallans and called lodge at the same time.
Great. But that one is an offspring of the church.
Yes.
But what's the difference between that and the Freemasonry?
Do you know they are teaching?
No, I'm asking. Do I go to church with you?
Yes, you don't know, so don't start with
I'm asking. What's the difference?
The Catholic Church has told you that with this one, they don't believe in Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Yes.
But the Lord that we were brought up to fear, you know, we actually fear.
Because you hear the name Lord, you associate something with it. It's Marshallans.
Okay. They
are marshals for Jesus Christ.
Okay.
And so that's
just
what
like
it
the
is.
Salvation Army.
So stay within your Freemasonry. Don't associate it with the Lodge.
With the Lodge. Okay, I get that. So if it's a lodge, then of course the church recognizes that.
If the lodge is not recognized by the church, they will tell you.
Oh yeah, I get that.
There are many Marshallans in all the churches, all the Catholic churches. They have their own branches of
I'm not ready to thoroughly. That doesn't mention the Marshallans.
No,
the
does not mention them. That's why I'm saying that stay in your lane.
Okay, I get that, but I think for clarity purposes,
they are not the same.
I get you. The statement ought to have mentioned, because there are many people who link the two together.
No.
You get the point?
I don't think there was any need for them to mention it.
No, I think there was.
No. If it will be ignorance for people. It is ignorant on people's part.
Yeah, because they didn't know.
Well, they have given you enlightenment. Freemasonry and Marshallans are not the same thing.
That's the point, that they didn't mention Marshallans.
They did not have to mention Marshallans.
No, they did.
I said they didn't have to.
I think they did have to.
They didn't have to.
To be honest with you.
They didn't have to.
Because if many people out there are associating Freemasonry with Lodge or Marshallans, as you mentioned.
It's okay.
Right.
Let's make progress.
Then you ought to just clarify it.
There's no point mentioning
I just disagree. That's the point I'm making.
Don't worry. It's not your church. Leave the church alone.
All right. So probably the Presbyterian Church will have to also issue a statement. And probably the Methodists, because you told that, and I've heard them explain their belief systems. And I'm talking about the Freemasons people. And they talk about the fact that it doesn't stop you from attending any church or belonging to any other church organization. It's just a system that comes together to help each other. Now, mind you, Otunfo is an Anglican or Catholic?
I don't know for sure.
Yeah. But I know Kufo is a Catholic too. Yes. So why? Okay, no, maybe they can't mention names though. But yeah, we know. So
it's not as though the thing is that I think it's because of the wave of conversation around it recently, and they just wanted to bring clarity to it.
Yeah.
If it had not probably been asked, because it's the way it was asked at the vetting, as though it is something endorsed or something by the church or something, you just needed to bring clarity to that. That's not what it is.
I get that. It is what it is.
It is what it is. Speaking of which, Iraq passing a law lowering legal age of marriage of girls from 18 to 9, and they said it's a new personal status law, making it possible for Shia religious authorities of the Jafari School of the Islamic law to conduct marriages for girls as young as 9. Is it betrothal or what? What exactly is it?
Okay, so it's good this is coming up now. Some of us have known this and other West teachings of the Shia Muslims. Do you know that now a man is allowed to move into a community? He will be there for about 3 days, and he's allowed to marry any woman of his choice within that 3 days. And after he's done with whatever activities he came to the community to do, after 3 days, he's allowed to divorce the woman and then move away. That's the teaching
after
of
the
Shia.
3 days?
Yes. It's called temporary marriage.
But how? Why? Is it a radical version of Islam, Shia?
Yeah, you can put it that way. Probably, okay, there's another thing that probably might make you cement the radicalism bit that you brought in. So they have a tradition, like a festival.
Okay.
And the festival involves you hurting yourself.
Hey.
So, oh no, just go on the internet. So they whip themselves with metallic objects and then blood. You're hurting yourself.
You
Yes.
is a human being.
Yes, you are hurting yourself and the blood is oozing out. As a way of punishing yourself.
For what?
For some iniquities that might have happened in the past. So that's another one. And so this is to tell you that this should not come to you as a surprise. The Iraqis are Shias. And that's how come they gel so much with the Iranians.
Okay.
Right. That's how come they equally don't gel so much with the Saudi Arabians. They are Sunnis. So, yes, it's a sect in Islam that has some principles that many other members of the Islamic community will abhor and say this is extremism.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Shia, like the Sunnis, is it like how we have the Ahmadiyas too?
Yes.
Or
So we have the Ahmadiyas, we have the Sunnis, we have the Shias, and then we have the Jalus and a few others.
Okay, I get it.
But I think if there is an antagonism, it's between the Sunnis and then the Shias, because the moderates are the Sunnis, the extreme, when it comes to beliefs, are the Shias.
Okay, I get it. It's just like how we have some of the Awoyo churches here
Yeah.
that do extreme things.
Yeah.
You know, people will be lashed for all sorts of things and chained and all that. So I think it's in all the
So that's
the
Iraq.
religions.
And that's a part of the reasons why Saddam Hussein was supported to be overthrown and even killed.
But eventually.
He didn't believe in some of these things.
Oh.
So, yeah.
He didn't believe in some of the things the
Yeah.
Shias do.
Yeah.
I see. Well, anyway, let's see. starfm.com.gh. Well, good morning to you, Aisha. How are you? We hope you're well. Wishing you a lovely morning. Let's go to starfm.com.gh. Why is this thing asking me anyway?
I asked you the same question to prove that I'm no robot.
Can you imagine?
I said, okay.
Look, I don't have time.
You've got time on your hands. I was telling the side that he's got time on his hands to be asking people to confirm whether they are robots or not.
Let's go to City Newsroom and find out what is there. Are you on City Newsroom?
Not yet.
Okay,
so go
there.
there. Yeah.
Ama Kofi Boa, three other minister designates to be vetted today. I mean, Ama Kofi Boa will be on the hot plate because we are seeing, illegal mining all over. I think in the Ashanti region, there are reports that there are a group affiliated to the NDC is somewhere in one of the forest reserves, mining and all that.
Yeah.
Recently, today, I think I saw another story about in one community, people suspected to be affiliated to the current administration or the new government moved in a bid to go and, sack those who are believed to be affiliated to the others because it's their turn.
Okay.
Unfortunately. So, but order needs to be restored,
Yes,
especially
definitely.
after the lacuna before the election where everybody left everything to just, rot.
Yeah.
So Ama Kofi Boa and three others are supposed to appear before the committee today. So it means that now the list is the schedule moves up, right?
Yeah.
Because initially there was no Monday.
There was no Monday.
So they move it up. So a black one will come on Wednesday instead of Thursday.
Instead of Thursday, yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
Mhm.
And it makes sense that they will have to make use of today. I was surprised that the committee members had decided to take a rest on Monday. It's Monday that the House doesn't sit, right? So Monday affords you the time to be able to get all the attention and clear many others. So tomorrow, when the House sits, then those that have been vetted, the report can then be presented to the plenary for approval and subsequent swearing in, right? And whilst at that, I'm sure you guys might have spoken about the gender minister, or not yet. The gender minister.
We haven't spoken about it.
Yeah.
I think the government didn't do right by her.
Yeah.
The handlers didn't do right by her because it went on and on. Look, even I was upset that why would you be late for your swearing in? But it turns out that they were hoping that at the other batch it was just left with Muntaka, right?
Yeah.
They were hoping that Muntaka will be approved and then they'll be all sworn in at the same time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that didn't happen in Parliament. So they said around 4 p.m. thereabouts. Then they decided that they sent messages to the nominees or the ministers designates and asked those who were in proximity. And Namomo mentioned that she had a family emergency, so she was out of Accra.
Yeah. And
so it may be a challenge for her to make it there. And they said, she should come nonetheless.
Yeah.
She should come nonetheless. They will try and make arrangements. So they said they even prepared 2 speeches to accommodate her absence and one that accommodates her presence as well. Unfortunately, I think when things had to go, she was not in yet, so they had to go with the original plan of going without her. But I think that they had encouraged her to come regardless.
Yeah.
But when they saw that the thing was over, because at the time she came, I think they were done, right?
Yeah.
They were taking turns to take pictures.
Yeah.
So at that moment, she would know that it's not a good sight.
Yeah.
So tell her that if it's downstairs, just stay there. Don't come up.
Yeah.
Instead, because it left many people, or that opportunity, they could have used that opportunity over the crowd to even quickly clarify it.
And that's where
hang there for nothing.
That's where I agree with you on all fours that the communication from the presidency was not proactive
at all.
So, in fact, before the entire exercise was over, there was a code cut out that she had missed her own swearing in. So address is there
and then. And
instead of going on platform, I've seen from privy to platforms where you're berating the media house and the one that was sent, and it's resulted in a directive that nobody will be allowed to stand in at the presidency, and no reporter will be allowed to stand in for any media house. If your presidential correspondent is not around, nobody else will be allowed to. Yes, we get all that. Those are internal mechanisms you are putting in place. But nonetheless, cure it as and when it started. So it festered for too long, and there were many who were calling for her nomination to even be withdrawn and what have you. It's not fair to the woman
at all.
But let's see. But at least the explanation has come. She will get to be part of the next batch of ministers to be sworn in. And so those who have been sworn in have taken office, and already you have a new DG for Ghana Education Service. You have a new Director General for Ghana Education Service, so it means that the previous one
was a
has been fired.
Provost of the
UCC.
Well, we hope and pray that the Ghana Education Service will work again.
Yeah,
there will be clarity with reopening dates.
Yeah,
and because I've never experienced something like this, like we experienced in this last few years, where dates kept shifting and all those things, and there was no predictability. I get it that COVID was a problem, in terms of shifting our academic calendar and all that, but there are a lot more we could have done better in improving our situation. Well, other stories here. Backbin to write. Are you there too?
I'm at Stephen Okonoji. So finished.
So Backbin to write to AG for advance. God, what am I seeing? For advice on anti-LGBTQI plus bill. We mentioned that earlier. Tried to engage Mohammed's government over passage of anti-witchcraft bill. You can't be a true Catholic and a Freemason. Catholic Archdiocese of Accra. Mahama sets up 7-member committee for national economic dialogue. Yes. They are supposed to be planning that, correct? Well, I was expecting to see Bokman. But this is the planning. Maybe
there's a
in
plan.
the conversations he'll be there.
Yeah. I saw Gachi is in there planning. So the planning. I've seen the new GRA boss too is in there as well, and a few others. Yeah, so planning and even scope of discussion and what is to be tabled, everything will be in there. It's part of the 120 days social contract with Ghanaians. There's another one that will be held for the educational sector, say a public forum on education. So it doesn't come as a surprise. These were promises that were made in the manifesto.
Yeah, the 120 day.
Yeah, the 120 day
social contract.
So more like a Senchi 2.0. Yeah.
Other stories here. 13-year-old boy tragically murdered in Boko. Unfortunate. I'll sacrifice my life to ensure anti-LGBT, anti-gay bill is passed. Backman. He said it's very personal to him.
Yeah, he says it's not negotiable.
Yes. NTA Staff Association backs Reverend Engineer Fianco's visionary leadership.
On that, apparently it wasn't him. Hey, this country, this country.
Said it wasn't him.
But it wasn't, because I've seen the video, I've seen the pictures. They've reproduced the picture of the gentleman who was at the Radio Go premises. Just the glasses are not even the same. This life, So that's how come sometimes patience is everything. Patience
they
is
were
everything.
dead convinced that this is
That's him.
So would they still go and picket at the NCA?
When they go, I'm sure they'll show them the pictures.
Oh.
And they'll be like, ooh, we are in you cry.
Residents shouldn't be shielded from prosecution after presidents shouldn't be shielded from prosecution after their tenure. Baka Vomawo.
Yeah.
And Farm Milk apologizes for Achimota Tesano overhead truck incident. And Minority Caucus using a walkout as a weapon won't work. The Farm Milk thing, look, Saturday, the traffic.
Yeah. It toppled from the overhead and down. Thankfully,
Gridlock.
Yeah.
We're wondering, only for me to get home and realize that this is what had happened.
What were you doing there?
Why?
That area?
Are you my father?
No, you don't live there.
I'm down with city issue.
It's time from the conference. Majority leader in parliament appears. Okay, majority in parliament appears weak. Rashid Draman is saying, and Mami Tiwa should resign and pursue politics. Bona. Mahama, yes, on that. So she's been sent back to the pool, right? The police pool.
Yeah.
So the IGP would then have to decide where
to deploy her.
And that's the challenge with being given top positions when you are not near retirement.
Okay.
Once that position is taken from you, then it becomes difficult as to where to send you. Mind you, she was CID boss at a point. So when President Akufo-Addo removed her from that portfolio, scouting where else to take her, and then Yoko came. So now that she's returning from Yoko, where to take her, equally becomes an issue. Mahama picks Ismail Yamson to lead National Economic Dialogue Planning Committee. And you can't be a true Catholic and a Freemason at the same time. Catholic Archdiocese of Accra is saying. And Georgia Isi Lord Mohammed's blend of youth in ministerial appointment. And Catholics who are Freemasons are in grave sin. Catholic Archdiocese of Accra is saying. And don't reassign Mami Tiwa to sensitive roles. Bona to Dampari. And finally, Tiwa Adodankwe's appointment as Yoko boss was a mistake. Bona. Mahama only paid us 8 days as January salary for my MCE laments. But you worked for how many days? That was the question I asked when I saw the story. If you worked for 8 days, then they say the laborer deserves his or her wages. So you work for 8 days, you are paid 8 days. But that's swift though. Like the payment for the 8 days salary. Because January has not even elapsed.
8 days, wow.
They didn't even work for 8 days, it's 7. Because if from
7
7
to you are Carlos, so one extra day into you, you want them to take it out.
And this Malik's post about I'm a product of the streets and we are not leaving anyone behind. Hence, dear 5K men, 3K
Just
women,
populist,
fire rangers, body cams team, cock and hold on unknown rangers, fire flames, Okada ninjas, etc. Feel free to join me. Assume work as the YEA headquarters tomorrow Monday at 10 a.m. This is just going to cause traffic.
Hopefully they don't come.
You think they won't come?
Some of them will come. The Nima boys will come.
They'll
Yeah, it's a motorbike. But hopefully it's just for the moment. Yeah, because that's the same lane that leads us to Parliament and the ministries and even the Ridge Hospital, right? So yeah, I get that. I get the fact that because for some of them this will be the only time they get to come closer to the police.
Again.
I get the political essence of this. I get the political importance of this. Eric J, who has equally been appointed as a NEIP CEO, is saying the appointment is for the grassroots.
Eric J.
Yeah. He's one of he's the deputy communications officers. Yeah, at the point he was deputy to Professor Nanaji Opoku Ajiman's campaign. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So I get that. Some of them, of course, they will live by it. They will ensure that, because that's why they've been given appointments in the first place. Take care of the party. And then
with all these agencies, why do we need a ministry?
Okay. So you want the ministry scrap? No, it's been brought to 23. Still one more to go down.
I'm saying, if we have all these agencies,
Yeah,
why
the
do you need
president,
a
I'm told,
ministry?
is appointing over 5,000. Just that, CEOs and what have you, over 5,000 of them. So he's nowhere closer. No. It's nowhere close. If time will come, they might even find, they wonder where to take who, and then say, Mutala, come. It's possible.
You guys can be a government advisor.
We do that on the show. And we do that free of charge. We don't need a portfolio to do that.
Fantastic.
Yeah, just as we advise Akufo-Addo. Now that the chiefs are running away from the statue.
No, but it's the chiefs that are running away from the statue.
They ran away from it a long time ago.
It's
then
a different thing that is, the upper,
We don't have upper and lower
upper
disc.
disc and lower disc, and so that is where it came from.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
It's not easy.
Not at all.
At all.
At all. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the 5K men, some of them are in.
Well, I'll be like bicycle.
It's very easy. Charlie. It is what it is. When they say start to hear right, I'm not sure some of us have started a year right.
I think I'm one of those. You guys owe me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not starting my year right at
You
all.
guys
Because
owe me, know
the
that.
things that will upset you in the morning are too many. That Charlie, you can't even concentrate. Charlie.
Iwadabi, so good morning.
Good morning, Adi.
Good to have you.
Yeah, good to be here.
Charlie.
I've been listening, and you guys are doing a fantastic it's
Can you imagine?
usually it's different when you are listening to
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
own station outside, and I'm proud. But there's one thing on my heart,
Yeah.
and it appears we don't value lives in this country, and it's
Yeah.
in relation with the fan milk truck incident.
Yeah.
Look, safety barriers are supposed to be there for a purpose.
Yeah.
This is the only country that vehicles can knock down a safety barrier, and 6 months, 1 year,
It's
there's
not
no
fixed.
replacement.
Yeah.
Are they serving a purpose or not? If they are, they must be replaced. And especially when they are on footbridges that are high rise, they are up there. They should be of a certain quality. I doubt that the one at the Chimota overhead
It's
is
strong enough.
You get it? Yeah. And look, we should be thankful to God that it happened on a weekend. Imagine if it had happened on a weekday. The new director for National Road Safety Commission, we beg you, let's make our roads safe. Let's not assume that all things being equal, everything will be equal.
Yeah.
Human beings man these vehicles, and these vehicles are machines.
Yeah.
They can break down at
Any time.
Yeah.
And it might even surprise you that if the calls are not loud enough, this part where the truck fell, those safety barriers will remain unfixed for a very long time. Because you use our major roads and you notice that most of the safety rails are either damaged, they bend. I mean, someone has rammed into it, and it is like that. It happens to our street lights, it happens to our traffic lights, and nobody is ever really sanctioned for it. So people
talk of
continue.
street lights. They do the Dubai interchange. The street light at the top.
None of them work. None.
So there's a stark difference between that one and the new one. So
Yes.
one day I was telling the driver that I pray that in the next 3 months, the street lights at the Obeche Bilanti also does not go off
like that.
because it's.
And do you remember when it was inaugurated?
It was like
bright.
bright.
Just like how the Obechebi is looking now.
Yes.
That's how it used to look. But I mean, we don't care. It's not just the Ghanaian. So that's why there's leadership. So all the monies we pay for all that street lights, because we paid for street lights.
Yeah.
So why is it that the whole capital seems to be in darkness? Why?
Accra is too dark.
You ply major roads and there's not a single street light working. They don't value. They don't. As for the lives there, they don't value it. So it's quite unfortunate. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much for the newspaper review segment joining me. I appreciate it. We'll go for a break. When we return, it'll be time for first check. We'll talk about the committee. We'll talk about many other things. Hold on. It's still the Morning Star here on Star 103.5 FM. We will be right back after this.